We're in a bit of a tricky part of the offseason right now because it's the middle of June. There's not a ton going on. Mandatory minicamps are kind of opening up and closing within, the next couple of days. We're in a Bermuda Triangle of the Dynasty season coming to a close, the best ball and redraft season kind of coming to a start. So in today's video, I figured I would give you guys 7 players I am higher on for the 2023 NFL season. So if you're a contender in Dynasty, you can go out and trade for these players. If you're drafting best ball teams, of course, you can go out and draft these players. And if you're getting an early start on your research for your home redraft league, you can definitely keep these players in mind. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so this video is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Of course, use code FSE for 100% back up to $100. With each guy, I'm going to outline their underdog ADP. So if you're doing best ball drafts, you can go ahead and get some shares of these guys, win up to $3 million in Best Ball Mania 4 if you can take that thing down. And I'm also going to outline a player prop. If you guys have checked out their new season-long pick'ems, you can, look over on their site right now and see that, Dameon Pierce is projected for 900.5 rushing yards. If you think he's going to go higher than that, you can put him into your pick'em slip. If you think he's going to go lower than that, you can put him into your pick'em slip that way. I'm also going to try and avoid guys that I talk about all the time, like Elijah Moore, Brandon Ayuk, Deontay Johnson, and Jahan Dotson, because you guys have heard me talk about those guys in other videos, and I never shut up about them. But the first guy that we're going to talk about is Tony Pollard. He is the first player I'm higher on than consensus for the 2023 NFL season. He's currently going off the board as the RB7 as a late second-round pick. Pollard finished the season as the RB8 last year, so he already is kind of finished around where he's being drafted. He scored 12 touchdowns on just a 48.1% opportunity share. This coaching staff is kind of clamoring for a greater emphasis on the run game, and to me, I think that means especially in the red zone, because I think Dak is going to be the one to move the ball in between the 20s. Pollard already projects to be the current goal line back and the lead back for this offense that ranked 3rd in points per game last year, 1st in points per game the year before. So very, very high-scoring offense he's going to be the lead back of. He scored 9 touchdowns on just 23 red zone carries in 2022, and that's with Zeke in the same backfield, scoring 12 rushing touchdowns on 39 red zone carries. So if all of those carries are up for grabs, and if Pollard, can command 70, 80, 90% of that red zone work, he's going to have a ton of goal line opportunities. Zeke had 13 goal line carries last year, and of course, he's no longer there. Of course, they could add Leonard Fournette, they could add Kareem Hunt, they could add Dalvin Cook, somebody like that, but even still, I believe in Tony Pollard a ton, and I think if they added somebody like that, his ADP would shoot down like 2 rounds, and I would absolutely still be in on him at that point. As of right now, he projects to be the feature back, getting all of the valuable work, targets, red zone work, the bulk of the carries for one of the best offenses in the NFL. And I think his higher on 7.5 rushing touchdowns is one that I really, really like if you're building out a season-long pick'em slip. Number 2 player I am higher on is Dameon Pierce, who's currently going off the board as RB21, about a mid-6th round pick on Underdog Drafts right now. Dameon Pierce was going in round 6 of drafts last year, so he's basically going exactly where he was going last year, and I would argue his situation has gotten nothing but better. The Houston Texans bring in a run-friendly scheme with the San Francisco 49ers, coaching tree coming over, instead of this outdated nonsense that Lovie Smith was running last year. They draft CJ Stroud, who even as a rookie will be an upgrade to Davis Mills, who was just not good at all last year. The Texans ran a ton in the red zone last year, and Dameon Pierce profiles to be the lead back yet again. He posted a 73.8% opportunity share even as a rookie, which ranks 6th in the NFL, and all they added to this backfield was Devin Singletary, who may take away some pass catching work, but Dameon Pierce was never going to make his money as like a 75-plus target running back. He's one of the few backs I think that you can get in the mid-rounds that legitimately could see 250, 275 carries, close to 300 opportunities on the entire season. And if he gets that much work, he's going to be an RB1 in fantasy, and you can get him in the mid-6th round right now as your RB2 after, maybe drafting a hero RB in round 1 or round 2, filling out your wide receiver core, maybe deviating for a quarterback or something like that. And, pairing up Dameon Pierce with a stud running back, or if you go with a 0 RB, he's kind of like the first guy that I look at as one of my anchors. So I really like Dameon Pierce. Love the higher on his 5.5 rushing touchdowns as well. Given the red zone work he saw last year, given the fact that I think the offense will be improved, really like his ability to score some touchdowns in that Texans offense. Number 3 player I'm higher on. I can't believe I'm going 3 running backs in a row to start this video with Najee Harris, running back 12 in ADP right now. He's an early 4th round pick. In most other seasons, I think a player with the outlook Najee Harris has would be like a late first rounder, maybe a mid second rounder at the latest. But the market on Underdog has corrected so far to the running backs are evil state of mind that this is now the third running back in a row that I'm talking about in this video that I'm saying is a good value. And honestly, I could have probably talked about 5 or 6 more running backs that I think are good values on Underdog right now. Najee played with a broken foot last year with a rookie quarterback in Mitch Trubisky and still managed to finish strong to close out the season. The Steelers quietly improved on their offensive line last year from the 28th ranked run blocking line in 2021 in Najee's rookie year to the 16th ranked line last year, and they were actually top 10 in adjusted line yards as well, according to Football Outsiders. And they add left tackle Broderick Jones in the first round. They add Darnell Washington in round 3, who was one of the best run blocking tight ends in the class and probably profiles to be their like 12 personnel inline run blocking tight end to go along with Pat Freiermuth. This is a running back that's formerly led the running back position as well with 94 targets as a rookie. Now, I don't know if he's necessarily ever going to get back to his rookie workload, but knowing that he was coming into the season injured last year, I don't think it should be a surprise to us that he got a little bit less work than he got as a rookie. He's still the lead back for an offense that never loses games, that never has a losing season in Mike Tomlin's tenure. He's got a second-year quarterback who showed a lot of improvement last year. A lot of people might be annoyed with Najee Harris because they probably spent a first-round pick on him and he definitely didn't work out for what you were expecting. But what I see is a guy who's a volume play, available in the 4th round, who's now healthy with an improved quarterback, a second-year quarterback instead of a rookie, an improved offensive line. Let your league mates convince themselves that Jaylen Warren's going to take over this job or going to have some kind of sizable role. If he's going to do what he did last year with a 70% opportunity share and an improved offense, he has the potential to still finish as like the RB8, RB6 in points per game. And you're getting a guy in round 4 that you typically in other years would have to draft in like round 2, where you can smash out some wide receivers, maybe get an elite tight end, get another good running back on your roster already. This is not the type of guy that you have to anchor your team with. This is the guy that you draft as the 4th player for your roster. He has at least 270 carries in his first 2 seasons. Even if he averages a pedestrian like 3.8 yards per carry, he's going to go well over this 925 yards that Underdog has set for him. I also really like the hire on that. Number 4 player that I'm higher on is a quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, ADP of quarterback 8 right now. He's a mid-6th round pick. Trevor Lawrence posted a breakout season last year, finishing with over 4,100 yards passing, 25 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions, and he improved his adjusted yards per attempt from 5.2, which is horrible, which is what he had under Urban Meyer as a rookie, to 7.3, which was actually 11th in the NFL last year. So we have a former generational prospect who's now achieving the high expectations that he had coming out of college, coming out of Clemson. He posted a huge breakout season, including a massive comeback playoff win against the Los Angeles Chargers pretty much the last time that we saw him on the field. The Jaguars offense ranked 8th in the NFL last year with a 58% neutral script pass rate. So this is an offense that wants to pass the ball. They ranked 9th in the NFL in pace of play as well. So they want to run up-tempo, pass the ball a lot. They had a true number 1 wide receiver in trade mid-season last year with Calvin Ridley. They tag Evan Ingram. They beefed up their offensive line in the first round with Anton Harrison. It's very clear to me that they want Trevor Lawrence to have the keys to the kingdom, take over this offense, become one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, one of the best quarterbacks in the loaded AFC. I think his passing yards prop is literally free cash right now, considering he beat it last year. As long as he and this offense stays healthy, I think this is an MVP candidate caliber quarterback that you're getting in round 6 of redraft leagues, round 6 of best ball drafts right now. He's going to go well over 4,000 yards, in my opinion. Number 5 player that I'm higher on is Gabriel Davis. Again, a lot of players I'm talking about in this video I was not high on last year, Najee Harris being one of them, Gabriel Davis being another. His ADP right now is wide receiver 41. You can get him in the mid-7th round. Gabe Davis last year was a top 20 receiver in ADP, and this is where he should have been going last year. He should have been going in the late 30s, early 40s, in my opinion. Wide receiver 41, where he's currently going, indicates that he is a boom-bust wide receiver 3, and that's exactly what he was in 2022. He had 5 top 20 weeks over the course of the season, including 3 top 10 weeks. So he gave you those boom performances, but he wasn't consistent. The rest of them, he was outside of the top 30 wide receivers, and a number of them, he was outside the top 50 wide receivers. It's who he is. He ranked 6th in the NFL with a 15.2 average depth of target, but the good news is he still has Josh Allen as his quarterback. So a guy who's going to be a deep threat, better have a strong-armed quarterback who wants to push the ball downfield, and he definitely has that in one of the best offenses in the NFL. Josh Allen also played through an elbow injury at times last year, which may have affected Gabe Davis's effectiveness downfield because Davis was a top 20 receiver 4 of the 9 games before Josh Allen suffered that injury on Thanksgiving. So with Gabriel Davis, I think we were kind of robbed a little bit of what he could have potentially been over the course of the whole season. I would not be totally shocked if he is a top 24 wide receiver in points per game, because nothing about his outlook has changed much. He has pretty much the exact same outlook he had this time last year. Of course, if DeAndre Hopkins signs, then that kind of changes things, but he's an 18% target share receiver, which is pretty much all he'll ever be in the Buffalo Bills offense. He's also in a contract year, so it's possible he has a big-time season and gets himself paid in free agency. I really like Gabe Davis for Dynasty. I really like him for redraft, and I also really like the hire on his 735 receiving yards on Underdog right now. Number 6 player I'm higher on is CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver 7 in ADP, late first-round pick. Pretty hard to be higher on a player than a guy who's already going in the first round, but this dude was an absolute monster last year. 1,350 yards, 9 touchdowns, over 150 targets, 29% target share. Only Justin Jefferson scored more fantasy points from the time that Dak Prescott came back. Week 8 on last year, CeeDee Lamb was averaging 20.4 PPR points per game. For a young wide receiver who's playing for a contract extension, who's the clear alpha of his offense, an offense that has ranked, again, first and third the last 2 years in points per game, this is an easy smash pick at the end of round 1. I also love the 1,150 receiving yards higher on Underdog as well. Number 7 player that I'm higher on, and then we can close out this video, is Chris Godwin, wide receiver 28 in ADP right now. He's a mid-5th round pick. And you guys might be thinking, Chris Godwin, I mean, the situation there stinks. It's Baker Mayfield. It's Kyle Trask. None of these quarterbacks are good. But what I will say about Chris Godwin is that his situation stunk last year, and he was still very good. He was 9 months removed from an ACL tear, which we don't typically see players perform. Look at J.K. Dobbins, look at Michael Gallup, look at anybody coming off of an ACL tear. They do not usually finish as top 15 receivers in points per game, and he plays on an offense last year that ranked 25th in points per game, probably where they'll rank again this year. So it's not like he's going from Tom Brady's offense in 2020 to Baker Mayfield's offense in 2023. The offense was bad last year, and he was still very good. This guy is a volume animal. In 9 of 13 games that he played, over an 80% snap share last year. So the game, we removed the games there where he was, coming off of the ACL tear and was limited in snaps, and, he dealt with some like compensation injuries and stuff like that. Only the games where he was playing 80% of the snaps or more, he commanded 10 plus targets in 9 of those 13 games, which is insane levels of volume. He ranked 9th in expected fantasy points per game last year and only 15th in actual fantasy points per game. The Bucs offense might not be as pass heavy as they were with Tom Brady. They might not run quite as many plays as they did with Tom Brady, but Baker Mayfield has fed his volume hog slot before. Back when he was in Cleveland the first couple years, he had Jarvis Landry as a top 25 receiver in his first 2 seasons, his best 2 seasons in Cleveland. And I think Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than some people might think, especially knowing he's going to be playing behind a decent offensive line with good weapons and a decent run game. Godwin is the easy target of this offense. And this offense always runs through Chris Godwin. When we move the chains, when we're able to generate offense, it's because Chris Godwin is on the field playing well. An excellent contending piece for those of you guys in Dynasty that are looking for somebody to trade your late first rounder away for, and you're looking for more flex production. I think Chris Godwin is a perfect guy to do that for, because he's still just 27 years old, and he's also a guy that can give you great production this year, especially in redraft leagues too. You can get him in the 5th round. You can draft a balanced start, 2 stud running backs, 2 great wide receivers, and then use Chris Godwin as your 3rd wide receiver. In Underdog drafts, I have a ton of exposure to Chris Godwin right now, and I love the higher of 925 receiving yards because he's been above this mark despite never playing more than 15 games every year since 2018. So thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. If you guys want to take this advice right into action, like I said, check out Underdog Fantasy. You can tail some of my picks that you guys can see on the screen here. And of course, use promo code FSE. If you guys are new to Underdog Fantasy, you can get 100% back up to $100 at sign up and first deposit by using my code or by using the link in the description. Check out some best ball drafts, check out some season-long pick'em, check out all the other contests for other sports and esports if you guys are interested in that as well. And of course, Dynasty, as usual, will be firing on all cylinders. If you want our Dynasty rankings, you want Dynasty articles, I dropped our summer scouting series, the first video of that, where I broke down my top 10 quarterbacks for the 2024 NFL draft, top 5 quarterbacks with film breakdowns as well. So if you guys want to get way ahead of your league mates, definitely go ahead and check out flockfantasy.com. Use the promo code FSE for 30% off. And right now, if you sign up annually, you will get 6 months for free, 30% off for using our code, and a free Zoom consultation with myself or with Danny, whoever you prefer. And we can talk whatever you want to talk about for your dynasty teams, for your redraft teams, whatever. So with that being said, peace out, and we'll talk to you soon.